In a previous video, we looked at the question authoring page and looked at some of the options that are on this page. So in this video, we're going to look at the question text portion of the authoring page. So when you open this up, you might see some code within this question text. This is actually HTML markup, and we'll come back to the HTML markup feature of this, but if you press the toggle editor button, it's actually going to open up a visual editor for the question text. And recall that the question text is what is actually displayed to the student. So what I'm going to do is type in some sample text. So this is some sample text. And then I'm going to press this quick save and preview button. So if I do that, a tab should pop up, or a pop-up window should pop up. And this gives you a preview of what the student is going to see for the question. So I'm going to put these side by side. So over here on the left, I still have this question authoring page. I'll just keep this student preview over here on the right-hand side. So this question text is like what the student sees. And there's some options to add some programmatic things in here. We'll cover that in another video. In this video, we'll just look at some of the features of this question text editor. So notice that we have this visual editor, so you have some options for formatting things. You can do things like bolded text, italics, underlines, various headings, things like this, similar to what you would expect from a word processor. If we want to type some math, you can press the backtick key, which is to the left of the 1 on your keyboard, or on most keyboards it is. So if you press this backtick button, it'll pull open a red box with some backticks in it. And in the red box, you can actually type in some math. So if I did something like f of x equals x caret 2, which would be like f of x equals x squared, and then you move your cursor out of that box, it's going to give you some math typesetting. So it looks kind of fuzzy here, but if we quick save and preview, on the student's end, we get this really nice looking mathematical text. So to add like math typesetting, just use the backticks and you can add in some math text there. And the input for this is ASCII math. Provide a link for that. But it's the same type of input that students use when they input answers into the system. So it's a pretty friendly input system. It is kind of reminiscent of what you would input into a calculator if you had an old like TI calculator. Okay, so we have some options for adding in math like that. Another option we have is if we need to upload an image into a question, we can press this insert/edit image. And then if we can provide a source if you want to like link to an image on a different site, or you can press this upload tab and either drag an image into this drop area, or you can browse for an image. So I've got a sample image sitting on my desktop. We'll throw that in there. And then it'll upload it. And we can change the dimensions, so I'll just change mine to 600 pixels. And when we press OK, it's going to load this picture into our editing area. So I made the picture pretty large. Let me shrink that down a little bit. So now we've got this picture sitting within our question. So if your question needs a picture in it, you can use that image upload feature and upload images right into here. Now there's another option down here where you can actually choose an image file, assign it to a variable. So like you could select an image, give it some kind of variable name, like a $IM for image, and then wherever you put $IM within your question text, it'll place that image. The second option, you have a little less control over the size and display of the image, so usually uploading it straight through that visual editor is the best option if you just have like a static image that you want to add to your question text. Okay, so now let's go back to HTML mode. If you press this toggle editor button, it'll take you back into HTML mode. Now, most people will probably want to use the visual mode, but if you like HTML and the flexibility that it gives you, you can type raw HTML right into this thing. So you can do things like if you need a paragraph tag, you can add a p tag and type in your HTML, and you can write your question text in that way. Now, there's also on the COSma learning system, there's a built-in system called Emmet, and Emmet allows you to really quickly write HTML. So if I wanted a p tag, I could press P and then press tab, and it's going to create those p tags for me. And then I can add some text in there. There's other options like if you wanted an order list with 4 elements. You could do OL, arrow, LI times 4, hit tab, and it's going to automatically create that list for you. Tons of options there. Google Emmet for more options. So if you like to write HTML, you can do this. If you don't use HTML, then you can ignore that totally and just press the toggle editor to use the visual editor for a little easier experience.